How many of you guys do you know are going to show you that? Alright, we are back. Fun. I found a couple of spots that I wasn't real happy with on this neck. So just really quick, I took some 1500 grit paper on my radius block and got those couple of little spots all kind of fixed out. Man, round wound strings will just chew a fretboard up when you ain't got no frets on it. So we're gonna let this boil, just plain old boiled linseed oil, and we're gonna get that rubbed in there real good and let that sit there for a minute. Kind of taking a couple of last chances at cleaning and polishing some things, because as soon as we throw strings on it, we're good to go. It tested out good once I got everything all wired up, and so in theory we'll be going today. I want to make sure I get it back to him in nice shape and pretty shape, functional shape, for something that my understanding was he found on a garage floor, and some guy said, "You can have it." Yeah, not a bad gig there. All right, cleaning and polishing, and then we're gonna throw some strings on it, and that will be fun. Remember to dispose of your oily rags appropriately. I always open mine out, and then I let the solvent, to let the oil evaporate and dry. True oil or linseed oil, any types of those oils, I'll always do that. I always open that up, let it dry out overnight, and then I can throw them away because all that oil is gone. And because in the drying process is when it heats up. So, all right, progress. Man, we might actually get this done today. What? I just cursed myself. All right, we're doing the final polish up on this. I just wanted to show you something. If you've been following the Fun with Wood series, actually I'll put it right down there. Fun with Wood. If you're following the Fun with Wood series that we were doing on finishes and what happens when you don't grain fill an open poured wood or a loose poured wood, here's a great example. Check that out. Both the sides and the back got no grain filler in them. Does that make it a bad guitar? Not necessarily. That's what it looks like when you don't fill the grain on a loose grain wood. So anyways, there it is. A real world example. Not just my doing stuff wrong because I want to know what doing stuff wrong looks like. Sorry about that. Alright, strings are going on. This has been cleaned with the Dunlop cleaner. It has lots of finish issues that are just way beyond fixing easily. So we just used the cleaner, we used the Dunlop cleaner, and then I used the Dunlop guitar wax, the Carnauba wax. so she's nice and pretty. Couple of things that that I want to address when we're putting on strings. One of them is string length. I gotta move that TV because I keep looking at the TV to look at me to talk to myself. Hi, self. Instead of looking there. Man, I think we'll be redoing the shop tomorrow. Anyways, so I like a couple 3 wraps around the post. That's just me. Kind of like so. This is, let's see, if we start here, 1 complete, 2 complete, and then into the hole. That's the way I like it. Some people don't. I've seen them usually more on the more side, although I've seen one guy, it's got like a beehive of stuff. He just starts the string on however long the string is and just winds it until it's on there. He's never out of tune, but it's kind of weird. I don't see that too often. So one of the things that I do, because I'm not a real smart guy, I keep telling you guys this, no one's listening, is what I will do is I will pull the new string out, and then if the old string is wound around the post pretty much as I like it, then I'm going to use the same amount of string. So on this one, what I'll do, no kidding, is it's super simple, is I'm just going to pull it out to about there. It's not rocket science. You don't have to be super close. You know, the world's not going to end in the minds of most people if you're a little bit off. And so now, when I put this up, I'm going to clip that about right there. Down into the post we go. Alright, that's one thing that I'm going to address. Another thing that I'm going to address, and I can get this out of here, is getting your string correctly seated. It's pretty easy to do on electric guitar. On an acoustic guitar, it's a little bit more of a challenge. Because sorry, there's a plane that we don't normally get that direction. You want to get that ball end, this ball end, coming out like this, and you want this up on the bridge plate. On the bridge plate. Not wedged down here, because this will work loose eventually, and then it will slip up, and now you're flat. And if it's in the middle of the song, that's just me. So let's take a look. I think I've got this in the right spot. But let's take a look. You know what? Let's take this out of the case. Because it goes so much easier. I'm going to drop it all over the place like that. Isn't that great? Alright, let's take a look-see here. Let's make a movie. Nope, where's my light? There we go. That looks to be about where she needs to be. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put all of these strings in, and I'm going to check them because I want to make sure that that's seated up on there for two reasons. Number one is, of course, because you want the string to be as far up as you can get it so that you're not going to get any slippage. The other reason that you want those up there is, in this case, you saw that piece of copper, and that is the ground. You want to make sure that we're grounded so we don't get any more buzzing than we have to. So alright, let's take a look and see how we did here. That don't look too bad. You can see my grounding wire going off to the other side there, so that we've got contact with the strings against that copper sheet, and then that all goes to ground. So yeah, we're good there. Alright, let's get her strung up. Real quick note, this bridge is tilted. It came to me tilted. I don't know if they're meant to be tilted, but it's tilted, and it makes me kind of nervous, but it is what it is. So alright, let's start. Let's see that. God, that drives me nuts right there, because not only is that a stability issue, but that's also going to make right. Well, there are a couple of different ways that you can figure out where you want to do this. On some bass guitars, you can go up a tuning peg and clip it there. On some, you can figure out where you want to be, and you can go back like a fret or so. Kind of hard to do that on this one. Or you can do the cheater method like I did. And on this guitar, I just measured the ones that I had previous. And then you're going to want to put it in, wind it around once. Okay. You want to make sure that this threads on the inside here and also on the inside here. And then you just start doing this. That's the exciting, yes? No. That one I probably could have clipped it actually where I crimped it, but it's fine. The only thing you don't want is you don't want like half a peg worth. And the other thing you don't want is you don't want it winding back on itself. There we go. I actually had to rig up an extension on my table because my table is not long enough. Hey, if you're the bench table fairy, send me a message and I'll tell you where I live, because I could use a really nice bench. But I would have to spend money to do that, and I ain't got no money to spend. Now I'll do this one just to kind of show you. Going the other way. And pulling it back. And then it's the same very exciting thing. They make peg winders, and I've got one. If I move my head, yeah, you can see it's right there. But then I have to get up, and I have to turn around, and now here's where I wanted to show you. Did you see how that started creeping up and wanting to be over itself? You don't want that. You want to make sure that that's kept down. You put your finger right there and push it down, forcing it to wind where you want it to wind. And you know what? I don't like the looks of this. Maybe we'll be okay. Lots of beeping and stuff. PCS season here at the base. People moving in, people moving out. I should mention that these are yep. You know what I did, boys and girls? I clipped that one too short. I certainly did. Yep. Okay. Do you see that? That's too short. That's never gonna work. Never gonna work. So you know what you do? You have a second set, just like I do. So now I'm gonna go back and pull the A string out of that second set and put it on here. Because you measure twice and you cut once, not the other way around. Alright, now we're cooking with gas. How many guys do you know are going to show you that? Not many. Yeah. Wow, I can't believe I did that. I'm so mad. Because that's like $7.50. Alright, well, learn from my train wreck. I made that mistake, so you don't have to. One of the things I've learned to do when I'm tensioning things up is to keep my hand right here. So that way if I get a bridge pin pop out, it's just gonna pop against my hand and not go flying across to regions unknown. Alright. Let's do a little tuning and then we'll see what we have. Alright. It worked. I don't know if you can hear that C5 blasting off in the background. Anyways, we're all strung up. Whoever built this, unfortunately, got the tuners on wrong because they tuned backwards. So it's a little disconcerting. Now, my action is high, but it plays and that's the tone, the treble, and it probably won't sound near as bad once I get away from all these lights and stuff and the computers. So anyways, there it is. I am not, we're leaving everything where it's at. We're leaving the action where it's at. We're getting tone, we're getting volume. We're gonna let it sit. I'm gonna take it back to Buddy today or tomorrow. And I'm going to let him dink around with it and tell me, hey, this is way high, or it's way low, or I want him to tell me what it needs to be. Because honestly, they have told me that this is a piddling around. It hangs in the office and somebody picks it up and they dink with it for a little bit and then they're done with it. I think it can be more than that, especially if someone who knows how to play it. Not this guy. Yeah. If it were my guitar, I'll be totally honest with you. If this thing walked into my life and someone said, here's your guitar, what would I do? I would make that obnoxious sound of the A10 at the gun range. That's the first thing I would do. What would I do? I'd probably put a new top on it. That's what I would do. But with that said, because learning for me is all part of it, that's what I would do. I would put a new top on it. I would grain fill. I would strip the finish off. I would fill the grain on this, the sides and the back. Yeah, I'd give it a new nut. It needs a new nut. I'd get rid of this silliness. I would either rework or replace the bridge and put something proper in there. I'd probably put a bags, piezo underneath a bridge that's not as scary as that one is with the microphone in it as well. That's what I would do if it was mine, because I don't know any better and I do stuff like that. But there it is, the Martin Kit acoustic bass. Boy, that's getting used to. There she is in all her glory. We're done. Holy cow. I don't want it to be over.